Well, I was very, very excited because number one, it's the women in television and film and the media, and you know, I'm a big supporter of that, and so I was thrilled, number one, that they're doing such a good job here in Pittsburgh, you know, with everything that they do, scholarships and everything, and the fact that they're giving me the award, it was thrilling for me. It's a very exciting night for me, so I'm happy to be here. I love Point Park University, and you know, have been associated with it for some time, so I'm very excited. You know, Pittsburgh's my home. I was born and raised in a little town called Smithton, PA, and West Newton, PA, and went to the Pittsburgh Playhouse School. And every summer while I was in high school, I spent the whole summer at the Playhouse. And then, of course, I became Miss Pittsburgh. I won a beauty contest, and went as far as Miss Pennsylvania, but I came in second. So, but Pittsburgh is very dear to me. You know, I just enjoyed being a part of it, and I love the people here. I love the city, and it's always nice to come home. I was here 2 years ago. I did Oklahoma for the CLO, you know, and played Aunt Eller. I'm doing all the old lady roles now, and of course now here in Pittsburgh, my son Patrick and I did The Music Man. I opened the show and did some singing myself, songs from Oklahoma, basically, 3 or 4 songs in the first act, and then became Mrs. Peru in The Music Man, again playing the old Irish lady, you know, and so it's great fun. I just love it. We have such a good time. I said the only thing we have to do now is come back and do Carousel together, and I'll do Cousin Nettie, and he'll do, you know, so it's great. All my department stores are gone. Kaufman's and Horns, and you know, all of that. But I love Pittsburgh. When I was here 2 years ago, I was here longer than I've been now, and you know, I just walked around, just walked up and down the streets, and you know, some of the things were familiar and some weren't. But I just loved seeing all the old buildings, which I love, you know, and the narrow streets. I love the feeling of it. It's a small town for me. You know, I had done 32 motion pictures before I did The Partridge Family, but, you know, the adults of today know me more from that than anything. And I was thrilled because you know, the agents and people, managers said, don't do a television series because if it is successful, you'll be that character for the rest of your life. And they were right. But it gave me time to stay home and raise my kids, and that was important to me because I was all over the world on movie locations and my kids were school age, and it was the perfect time. And I'm so glad I did it. I mean, people still talk about it. It's still being shown several places, you know, so it's nice. I was on my way to college. I was going to Centenary College in New Jersey. I knew a pianist there that I'd worked with at the Pittsburgh Playhouse. His name was Kenny Welch, and he became very successful in his own right. And I called him in New York, and he said, come on up, we'll sing a couple of tunes. This was July. I was going to college in September, and I was with my parents, and he said, listen, you know, Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein is having open auditions for anybody that wants to sing for their casting director, because they had 3 shows running on Broadway at that time, and their shows ran so long that they had to keep replacing chorus people, you know, and so they would have open auditions like every 2 weeks, and this just happened to be the day that they were having an audition. And he said, why don't you go down and sing for him? I said, I'd never been to a professional audition. I mean, you know, I had done 1 show at the CLO here and played a tiny part. Other than that, I hadn't done anything except at the Pittsburgh Playhouse. And I said, oh, I don't think I can go to a professional audition. He said, come on, we'll try it. So I said, okay, stood in line with everybody else, music in hand, waiting to get on the stage, sang for the casting director. He asked me the usual things, what have you done? And I said, nothing. And he said, can you wait a few minutes? Mr. Rodgers happens to be across the street. I want him to hear you personally. And I barely knew who these men were, you know. I was 17 and a half years old or something. So I waited. In walked Richard Rodgers. And he said, Miss Jones. And I said, what did you say your name was again? And he said, Richard Rodgers. I sang for him. And he said, could you wait 20 minutes? I'm going to call my partner, Oscar Hammerstein, at home and have him come and hear you. And my pianist, Kenny, said, Shirley, I hate to do this to you, but I have an airplane to catch. I can't wait. And Richard Rodgers said, never mind, we'll think of something. Oscar arrived, and he said, you know the score of Oklahoma? And I said, well, I think I know the music, I don't know the words. And of course, I'm talking to the lyricist, you know. He said, I said, but my pianist had it. He said, never mind, we have a full city center symphony across the street that's in rehearsal. He said, I have a score here. We'll take you over and you will sing 3 songs from Oklahoma with the City Center Symphony. I'd never heard a symphony, seen a symphony, let alone sing with one. Went over there, sang 3 songs. 3 weeks later, I was in the chorus of South Pacific on Broadway, and within the year, I was playing the lead in the movie of Oklahoma. That's how fast it worked.